Yo, what up everyone? I'm here on a Rapping and Snacking, getting into another video, and this one's actually going to be a track review. Out of nowhere, Nas and 21 Savage just released a track a few hours ago. I've listened to it a handful of times already, called One Mic, One Gun. As of now, it's not on any album. I'm assuming it will be a standalone single release. Maybe it'll drop physicals, maybe it'll drop merch. Who knows? As of now, it's all pretty brand new. Hit me up on Instagram and TikTok at Rapping and Snacking. Appreciate y'all. So, this kind of comes as a shocker, and I think this shows a huge level of maturity, particularly from Nas and 21 Savage as well, to be able to hop on a track with Nas. So recently, a couple weeks ago, 21 Savage was interviewed, and he was asked, he was speaking on relevancy and about Nas, and he basically, to sum it up, he said Nas is not relevant, but he does have a very loyal fan base, essentially is what he said. And he kind of, talked and backed it up a little bit, but obviously, this has shocked the hip-hop fans and hip-hop world, because usually, you don't try and go after legends, or you don't talk down on legends in hip-hop. Nas, who's been doing it for 30 years now, why would you even say that? But, to think about it, he does, there are some interesting points that people have brought up to defend 21 Savage, but it's kind of one of those things, why would you even talk about Nas in that light? But what's interesting is we get to see the maturity of Nas. And, if Nas, I think, was in his 20s, there probably would have been a beef, there probably would have been a battle, probably would have been something like that. Instead, Nas goes ahead and enlists 21 Savage on a track, and they go ahead and break bread over a track instead. And of course, Hit Boy is on production, which is cool because they just released King's Disease 3, Nas and Hit Boy, for their 4th installment. And one little tad bit note, it's funny because you can see a lot of amateur writers on websites. They say this is Nas's and Hit Boy's 3rd installment of albums. No, this is their 4th installment because they dropped King's Disease 1, 2, and 3, and they also dropped Magic. So it's funny that people just hop on a topic to talk but don't even do the knowledge. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the track review. And, let's go ahead and get into it. First off, for the beat, I think Hit Boy does a good job on the beat, but I'm not a huge fan of the instrumental on this track. I think it could have been better, and the reason, let me elaborate on why I think it could have been better. I think having a track with Nas and 21 Savage, bridging a pretty big gap in age, as well as a big gap in eras where they both really got popular from, you would expect, in my opinion, a much harder beat, maybe a beat switch, maybe something like that, or just something that I think would grab more attention, a little more fluctuation in the instrumental, which we don't really have a ton of. I think it's cool that 21 Savage drops his first short mini verse, and then when Nas jumps in, you hear the bass and more parts of the beat kind of kick in. That's pretty cool. But aside from that, I think the beat could have been a little bit better because, like I said, this is kind of a historic moment in a sense that you have Nas and 21 rapping together after 21 Savage kind of threw a jade at Nas, whatever you want to call it, whatever people want to label it, whatever. I think the fact that they got together, this should have been something that was even bigger than that. Maybe a longer song even. This was nearing 3 minutes. Maybe it could have been a little bit longer. I think they could have excelled a little bit more, making the track maybe a little over 3 minutes, maybe the beat being slightly better. I think Hit Boy could have, I don't know if this was freshly made for this track. I don't know. This could have been like a King's Disease 3 instrumental or something else laying around. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad beat. I just think it could have had more potential. Now, to get onto the lyrics, I think there was some cool stuff definitely being said, and I definitely like how this really responds to what was said. It's not like they're ignoring what was said between 21 Savage talking about Nas. No. They literally attack it directly, and I'm on my laptop here just because I don't remember them off the top of my head, but 21 Savage has a line where he says, "Ain't no back and forth, ain't no left or right, I got King's Disease, but I move like a knight." So 21 Savage is shouting out Nas's King's Disease albums, but he's saying he moves like a knight, so he's basically paying homage, and then also talking about how he moves, but that's pretty cool because he's now acknowledging Nas's verse, and this or Nas's albums, and this also signifies that 21 Savage did not just give Nas a recycled verse, he's giving him new material, new written lyrics, which is very important. That means it is a little more sincere, a little more heartfelt what he's saying. Next up, I have another 21 Savage line where he's saying, when you turn a legend, no such thing as relevant. So he's kind of backing up on some of his claims where he said Nas isn't relevant, but he has a loyal fan base. Well, he's saying when you are a legend, like Nas, there's no such thing as relevant, basically saying that your stamp in music, your stamp in history is cemented, it's over, you're here forever. So I think that was pretty admirable of 21 Savage to go ahead and do that, because some people are not big enough to do things like that. So big shout out to 21 Savage. And like I said, this is just a good moment in hip-hop, and I think Nas and 21 Savage are setting good examples on this song with these lyrics. Next up, I have a lyric from Nas where he says, "It's cool to be mainstream. I'd rather be timeless if we keep in a P." So Nas shouting out P. Everyone's been hearing that, so he's also keeping up with the times. Very, very, very cool how Nas and 21 Savage are paying homage to one another as well as their respective eras. 21 Savage has a line here where he says, "You rappers keep chasing the hype. I do it and I don't be trying. I ain't going against no legend. I'm trying to be next in line." So once again, 21 Savage is saying he has no beef. He doesn't want any part of that as well. He wants to go ahead, pay homage, and then he also wants to be next in line in hip-hop culture and hip-hop legacy. So big shout out to 21 Savage being a bigger man here. And Nas, last thing I want to quote on the lyrics standpoint is Nas on the outro. He's saying, "Two kings, we send a love to the whole culture, 21 Esco." So Nas also acknowledging, we're both kings, we're both getting our props, we're both getting our due, and much love to the whole culture as in hip-hop. So, I think this was definitely more of a statement. I think the song is good. I don't know how much replay value it will have for me. Like I said, I wish the instrumental was a little better, and I'm not slighting Hit Boy because I actually do like Hit Boy's production. I think he's been a workhorse in recent years, and I think he's been proving his case to be one of the best producers in the past 5 years at the very least. So big shout out to him. Like I said, I wish for the moment that it is, I wish that it could have been better. I feel like that felt a little bit rushed. I think the lyrics are good. I think Nas's flow on the song, he does go slightly faster than his normal style, which I don't have a problem with. I think it actually works. I think 21 Savage goes a little more in his pocket of what he's more familiar with, which also works. I think Nas did have better lyrics and verses, but I think 21 did good. I think he did fine. I think 21 Savage is a fun feature to hear on songs. And this song, I think it was good. I think it was an important piece more than anything rather than a replayable track. Who knows? I'm assuming we'll go ahead and get some sort of physical copies for this or maybe merch. I think we'll probably get a physical copy, especially with Nas being on Mass Appeal. They've been pressing up CDs, vinyls, tapes for some of his releases as well as merch. I think we'll go ahead and get something in that regard. For a rating here, I like it. I don't love it. We'll go ahead and see how much replay value it gets from me. I also don't really do reviews this quick, so it is pretty fresh. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and give it like a B-, a C+ perhaps. I'll go ahead and give it a B- as like a rating here. It's good. It's not great. I think it's important. I think they conducted a good message here. And big shout out because gotta be the bigger person. Nas, it's not what people say about you, it's how you react in these times, right? And I think Nas, especially being a veteran in this stage in his career, I forget how old he is, he's 49 or 50 or something like that. And the fact that he chose peace and to make a song and to do something for the fans and all that, and 21 Savage also agreeing to that, and writing new verses and all that, and Hit Boy also being a part of this. I think that's important. I think it's a great role model type of example to do. And instead of sending hate, causing ruckus between two camps, they're making money together and they're generating good content. So shout out to both of them, or all three of them, I should say. Let me know what your thoughts are on this song. What do y'all think about 21 Savage and Nas kind of squashing? I don't want to say squashing because there never really was a beef. But what do y'all think about that? Go ahead and let me know what y'all think. And hit me up on Instagram and TikTok at Rapper and Stack. Appreciate y'all as always. Shout out to hip hop. Bless up.